Back here on HQ Spotlight on CBS Sports Network. LeBron James winning that improbable title with the Cleveland Cavaliers in his last stint 10 years ago now. 10 years ago next season. Might he return? Well, he's not commenting on trade rumors as reports surface that the Cavs are interested, but only if the Lakers pay out his contract. He's been with LA since 2018. If he goes back to Cleveland, it would be his third stint over the course of 3 different decades. Let's bring in John Gonzalez and Tim Doyle to discuss LeBron and potentially moving back to the Cavs and then overall the Cavs this season. John, let's say that the Lakers are willing to pay all or the majority of that contract because they want to get something in return for LeBron instead of just letting him go after this season. What do you think they would need from the Cavs in return?
Yeah, that's the thing, right? I mean, the conversation about buying out LeBron doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, just because if you're the Lakers, you were the 3 seed last year. You've got Luka and LeBron. Yes, LeBron wanted another contract, likely a 1-and-1, and you rightly and smartly decided not to give it to him. But he's still on your team. He opted into his contract. They have designs, even in a loaded Western Conference, where I think they're not as good as Oklahoma City, the Rockets, and the Nuggets. They still have designs on doing something in the postseason. So I have a hard time believing that they're just going to move on from him rather than keeping him around to try to make a run. And the reason why I don't think that they'd trade him either is because that $52.6 million is going to be awfully hard to match up salaries, which is why what would they want back from Cleveland? I mean, if you're going to do it, you're looking at some combination of Darius Garland, Jarrett Allen, and parts. I mean, I don't think that makes much sense. More likely here, I think what happens is LeBron ends up playing out this season in Los Angeles and then maybe reuniting with Cleveland next season when he's a free agent.
Yeah, I'm not really going to get into, Chris and John, the numbers or the contract or the aprons. I'm going to leave that up to Sam Quinn, who's in a dark room somewhere with Bunsen burners and graduated cylinders, and he's like got the numbers flying all over the place. I'll just say this as a fan. I need this. This is like the Wolf of Wall Street, okay? Like, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. I'm coming back to Cleveland. This is fantastic. This is everything the NBA is. The drama off the floor is better than the product on the floor. It's crazy that this is even a conversation. So, is this going to happen, Hassel? I have no idea. Is Sam Quinn seen like the light of day in weeks? I don't know. I know he's amazing with the numbers, and I want to see this matchup. I want to, as a fan of basketball, see LeBron back in Cleveland.
Well, let's just, for the rest of this conversation, say that it doesn't happen this year, and let's only talk about this year. The Cavs had the best record in the East last season. They added Lonzo Ball and Larry Nance Jr. I guess the question is, John, maybe it's twofold. Will either of them have any impact on the upcoming season, and do they even need to have an impact?
For Larry Nance, probably not, because he really functionally ends up as your third big, and you're really running a 2-man rotation there of Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen. But Larry Nance is a nice player. He's one of those guys that a lot of teams, he's bopped around the league. He's been on a lot of teams, and I think a lot of teams could use a Larry Nance. But he played 24 games last season. He had a ton of injury issues. Only played about 19 minutes per game. The most games he's ever played is 67 games. So I guess if you're looking at him as your third rotational big and maybe like 10 to 15 minutes a game, that's plenty. Lonzo Ball is really interesting because he's had so many knee issues. He missed 2 full seasons. He only played 35 games last year, and he averaged about 22 minutes per game. And even when he was healthy, the most games he's ever played in his career is 63 games. But he's so talented. And if you could get, 50 games out of him at, say, 20 to 25 minutes per game, that would be a huge win for them, especially after they lost Ty Jerome. I'm a big Lonzo Ball fan. He's super smart. He knows how to run an offense. If he was your second point guard or even, your third rotational guard off the bench, if you can just keep him healthy and he can give you really basically anything, that would be a boon for them.
Yeah, I mean, when I see Lonzo Ball, this is what I think of. Whoa, okay, we're bringing in Lonzo Ball. I'm rooting for the guy as a fan. He's missed all the time. I got a chance to watch him last year. I live in Chicago. It wasn't great. You were rooting for him, but he shot 36% from the field and 34% from 3. So I'm sure he was still, coming back. But I know Mike Gansey, the GM of the Cavaliers, since we're 12 years old. We communicate regularly. The guy is an amazing basketball mind. Remember, he was on that team with Pitt Snoggle back in the day at West Virginia. And he has built this Cavaliers team similar to those John Beilein teams where you got a lot of shooting, you got some excellent passing, but Lonzo Ball is a definite roll of the dice, a calculated gamble. As for Larry Nance Jr., Hassel, he recently played golf with my brother Dan. And he's just a fantastic human being. He's a great locker room guy. And he told my brother Dan this is hilarious. He said, I'm only in the NBA because I have a 7'2" wingspan. And it was like, 10 years into the NBA, and he's made a lot of money. But he's a great veteran presence in the locker room. He's been around the block. He's everything that's right about the game of basketball. So he fits. He's played with the Cavs before. Lonzo Ball, massive gamble.
Yeah, love the off the court references from Tim Doyle. At least he wasn't one of those guys. What was the guy you used to see mowing his lawn with his shirt off that you would reference all the time?
That was Alec Pierce. Yeah, he's the Colts wide receiver.
Oh my God, I don't know why we were talking about him when talking NBA. But listen, let's go to the draft this year. They didn't have a top 45 pick, John. They got Proctor from Duke, who's done some nice things in the summer league. How do you see this class impacting things moving forward?
Not much, right? I mean, this is a team like Proctor. He'll be an end-of-the-rotation guy. He's the 49th pick, a guard out of Duke. He's going to probably be most of the time in the G League. And then they took Niang with the 58th pick. He's a guy who's playing in Italy. He's in summer league right now. He's going back to Italy. I mean, so, he's in Vegas, and then they're shipping him right back across to keep playing in the Euro League. This is a team that's already, really loaded. Yes, they lost Ty Jerome. Yes, they lost Isaac Okoro, but we talked about Tim's brother's golf partner, Larry Nance, and then also Lonzo Ball. They're already still really deep, right? I mean, they do still have DeAndre Hunter, Sam Merrill, Dean Wade. That's 10 right there after you go through your first 5 guys when you add in Lonzo and Nance as well. So I would expect that they'll bring along Proctor really slowly, and then Niang even slower than that.
Yeah, and if you're a guy like Proctor, what a great organization to go to, where every day, as many days as you're up being a pro in the NBA level, you're matching up with Donovan Mitchell, what's the other guy's name? Darius Garland. What great guards to learn from. And by the way, professionalism to the utmost. Proctor was amazing in the tournament, guys. He averaged over 3 made threes a game. He shot 55% from 3. Once again, it's the Cavaliers. What are they putting an emphasis on? Shooting the 3. Hassel, they fell apart last year because of injuries. If they would have stayed healthy, they were massive favorites in that series over Indiana. Lost a crazy game where Halliburton made a shot, had some injuries, and then the wheels just completely fell off. I don't expect Proctor to have a high impact, but I think he could be a guy for the future. He is 6'5", and I will say this, Hassel, this is another off. I've actually never seen you look better. You got your hair, it's fantastic length. If we can keep it that length forever, you have a nice color. You're out in the sun. You've been exercising. You stay away from the bourbon. I've never seen you look better than this segment.
I'm not staying away from the bourbon. I can tell you that. Maybe it must be working for me at this point. We'll talk more about coloring our hair once we get off this segment and into the commercial break. But I did want to ask you about what you see for this team this upcoming season. Because, Tim, it does feel like a 2-horse race in the East with all the injuries, Halliburton specifically. It feels like it's either the Cavs or the Knicks. And for the Cavs, how do you think they deal with the added pressure of being the favorite right now?
I think they play a fantastic brand of basketball. They just got injuries, So, 2 years ago, the Knicks ended up getting banged up. So it's hard to predict that. But I do think that this is a 2-horse race. And at the end of the season, I think it's going to be Cavs-Knicks. And I have the Cavs winning the East. So I have the Cavs playing in the NBA Finals. I think the Magic are a legit team. Everybody else, talk about giant question marks across that entire Eastern Conference. But the Cavs have so many guys, John, right in the prime of their career. Garland, Mitchell, Mobley, Allen. Everybody understands their role. That is so hard to find on an NBA team. And by the way, they have continuity and chemistry amongst their starters. If they stay healthy, they'll be in the finals.
Yeah, last year, they had a really good year during the regular season, right? The #1 team in the Eastern Conference all season long. Yes, it was a disappointing second round out, but they had those injury issues that Tim mentioned. And I just love that team. They had the #1 offense in the NBA all season long. Everybody can shoot. They had a top 10 defense. That they brought in Kenny Atkinson, who cracked the code on how do you play Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland together. I was one of the guys who said you got to stagger them. Nope, they figured it out. I was one of the guys that said you got to stagger Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. They don't fit together. Nope, Kenny Atkinson figured it out. So I'm with you, Chris, that I think that it's probably a two-team race between them and the Knicks, but I wouldn't count out the Magic. They signed Desmond Bane. They've got their core locked up. They had injury issues last year. I think they're ascendant. They still need a little bit more offense, but I do like the direction that they're heading. And same with the Pistons, who, you know, if not for a couple of calls the other way, might have unseated the Knicks in the first round. And then I absolutely love what the Atlanta Hawks are doing this offseason, going out and getting Kristaps Porzingis and Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Luke Kennard, and they get Jalen Johnson back, who, by the way, is the best player on that team. Don't sleep on the Hawks either. I think it's sort of like a 5-team race, but yes, the Cavs and the Knicks are cut above. So I've got them in the Eastern Conference Finals, and then from there, who knows? I mean, they could absolutely win it and go on to the finals, and then we'll see. But I think that that's sort of like the baseline for them. And the other thing here, I just wanted to echo what Tim said. Your hair does look really good. I mean, he didn't say that about me, so congrats to you, Chris.
It's the key is to have a light directly on top here in the studio. The light is shining directly on top of my hair. That gives you we need to get some of that in. John, you've got a little bit of it. Tim, you need a light right on top of yours in your little space suit there.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you were putting a little mayonnaise in it, maybe a little lemon juice to make it a little bit lighter. It is the lighting, you're right.
No mayonnaise, I can promise you that. Tim Doyle and John Gonzalez with us here looking at the Cavs this upcoming season. Who knows? Hey, maybe they go out and get LeBron back again. Plus 250 to win it. They are the favorites slightly over the Knicks at plus 275. And then it's those teams that John said that don't sleep on the Magic and the Hawks and the Pistons. You never know.